Reacher is the ultimate modern action hero. Reacher is back for its second season, and fans of the Prime Video series could not be more excited. Reacher Season 1 was a huge hit, and it showcased what a true action hero Jack Reacher and the actor Alan Ritchson truly are. Great action heroes have filled the theaters for decades, and now they are coming to the small screen in droves. Prime Video's version of Lee Child's Jack Reacher will be remembered as the ultimate action hero due to his physicality and strong moral center. Some of the most famous action heroes include Sylvester Stallone, Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Charlize Theron, and Bruce Willis. These characters are characterized by their stunning action scenes, a noble mission, and lots of explosions and huge fights. Reacher embodies all of these things. He is the modern-day John Rambo, as he fearlessly stands up against authority and anyone who looks to do wrong to him or the people he cares about. Lee Child wrote an incredible character who has been brought to the screen a couple of times, but Prime Video's Reacher truly brings the character to life in the most memorable way. Reacher punches first and asks questions later. Later on in the same episode, Reacher does something that only an action hero could do. He activates an airbag with the sheer force of his body. As he notices a car following him and his friends, he walks over to the car and kicks it in the front bumper. His kick is so hard, the airbag is triggered, knocking the driver right in the face. This is a moment that many fans could see any member of the Expendables doing. It seems so quintessentially over-the-top action that it fits right into the world that Reacher is trying to create. It also furthers the legend of Reacher among his friends and the people he is up against. In fact, the real person who is watching Reacher is so scared after this moment that he demands backup before facing the massive man. While action stars are great solo operators, movies like The Expendables or Terminator show how incredible these heroes can be when working as a team or with other action legends. Reacher adopts this premise for a few scenes that demonstrate how Reacher is only made more deadly when teamed up with others. After finding out the location of the assassins who are sent after him and Carla Dixon, the 110th Unit prepares for an assault on the den of assassins. The team moves in with deadly efficiency, and Reacher leads the charge. The strength of the team and the deadliness of Reacher are at an all-time high, leaving audiences gobsmacked at how scary Reacher can truly be. Reacher's depth makes him a perfect modern action hero. The frequent criticism that can be leveled against previous action heroes is their lack of any emotional depth. While Schwarzenegger's Dutch or Keanu Reeves' John Wick are incredibly fun and exciting to see on screen, they lack a lot of depth beyond big muscles or incredible fighting. This even takes into account that Wick's entire story is based upon the loss of his wife and dog. Season 1 portrayed a Reacher that was more similar to classic action heroes, with him mostly pushing through the events through sheer force of will. Yet, Season 2 has already established new emotional depth for Reacher as he joins his former unit on a mission of revenge. In the vast landscape of modern action heroes, few names resonate as powerfully as Jack Reacher. Reacher, the towering former military policeman turned drifter, embodies the very essence of the genre, an unstoppable force of nature who is as cunning as he is relentless. Created by British author Lee Child, Reacher has leapt from the pages of best-selling novels to the silver screen, where his presence has redefined what it means to be a modern action hero. Unlike the one-dimensional protagonists of yesteryears, Reacher is a complex, multifaceted character who combines intellect, physicality, and a deep sense of justice, making him the quintessential action figure for our times. The physical force at first glance, Jack Reacher is the embodiment of raw physical power. In Child's novels, Reacher is described as 6'5" and 250 pounds, with a body honed by years of military training. His sheer size and strength set him apart from typical action heroes. Whether it's breaking bones with precision or dispatching multiple opponents with cold efficiency, Reacher is the kind of man you don't want to meet in a dark alley or anywhere, really, if you're on the wrong side of the law. However, what makes Reacher more compelling than the average action star is that his physicality is never used recklessly. He's a man who knows the limits and the consequences of violence. Reacher doesn't fight for fun or out of ego. He fights when it's necessary, when there's no other option left. In an age where many action heroes rely on gratuitous explosions or flashy martial arts, Reacher's fights are gritty, brutal, and grounded in reality. There's no flash, only efficient, devastating action. A tactical mind, Reacher's physical prowess alone would be enough to cement him as a top-tier action hero, but what truly elevates him is his razor-sharp intellect. He's a tactician, always thinking several steps ahead of his adversaries. His mind operates like a military computer, processing complex situations and devising strategies on the fly. He dissects crime scenes with forensic precision and breaks down human behavior with unnerving accuracy. Reacher's intellect is on full display in his ability to navigate tricky moral and legal quandaries. In many of the stories, he's an outsider walking into unfamiliar territories, yet he's able to quickly assess the lay of the land, understand the players involved, and figure out who the real enemies are. His sharp mind is what keeps him ahead in a world full of enemies, many of whom are well-armed, well-connected, and seemingly unbeatable. This blend of intelligence and physicality places Reacher in a league of his own. Most modern action heroes tend to lean heavily in one direction. Either they're brainy detectives who outsmart the bad guys, or they're brawlers who bulldoze their way through problems. Reacher, however, combines the best of both worlds, making him a more balanced and complete action figure. The moral compass in many ways, Jack Reacher is a throwback to the old-school notion of the lone wanderer, a figure who drifts from town to town, righting wrongs and then moving on. What sets him apart in the modern context, however, is his strong moral compass. Reacher may operate outside the law, but he never wavers from his internal code of ethics. He's not a vigilante for hire, nor is he interested in personal glory or financial gain. Reacher does what he does because he believes in justice, in protecting the vulnerable, and in punishing the wicked. This sense of justice is what gives Reacher his true heroism. In a world where many modern action heroes are driven by revenge or personal vendettas, Reacher stands apart as someone who fights not for himself, but for others. He's a man who helps people who can't help themselves, whether it's a small-town waitress being threatened by a corrupt sheriff, or an innocent bystander caught up in a dangerous conspiracy. His moral integrity also adds depth to his character. Reacher is a flawed hero. He's stubborn, often too willing to use violence, and he lives a nomadic, solitary life. Yet these flaws are offset by his unwavering commitment to doing the right thing, no matter how difficult or dangerous the situation becomes. His journey is not just one of physical survival, but of maintaining his ethical standards in a world that often seems devoid of them. A man of few words, many actions, one of the hallmarks of Jack Reacher's character is his minimalist approach to dialogue. He's a man of few words, but when he speaks, people listen. His silence is part of his mystique. It gives him an air of authority and power that many action heroes lack. Reacher doesn't need to boast or make witty quips. His actions speak louder than words ever could. This quality is particularly refreshing in the modern era of cinema and literature, where many action heroes are defined by their banter or one-liners. Reacher's stoicism makes him more grounded and believable. He's not there to entertain, he's there to get the job done. And when he acts, the world around him changes. The modern hero for modern times in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, Jack Reacher represents a comforting constant. He's the ultimate modern action hero because he's a character who thrives in uncertainty. He's not bound by the traditional structures of law and order, nor is he beholden to anyone but himself.